unhinged text message that Charlie received, this time from a female Christian donor, Zionist, of course. And as I read this, I want you to keep in mind that this information, once again, is being shared to you from me, not from Charlie's closest friends over at Turning Point USA, who purport to care about what happened to him, purport to want the truth to get out, except not when it comes to the pressure that Charlie was under in the months leading up to his assassination, pressure that was coming from donors. These people, in fact, wouldn't dare utter a bad word about Israel. Tons to say about Candace Owens. They're not going to send any legal letters over to anybody that is pro-Israel. Yeah, it seems that that's the way, right? Not for a single second do they want to betray the Israel narrative. Israel is a friend and ally, not just to the United States, but of course to Charlie Kirk until the very end. Now, I'm letting you know that I have copy and pasted this message and sent it to my team and sent it back because I want to make sure where and who this message came from is not obvious. But this is a real message. Andrew Kovac can confirm it's real. Erica Kirk can confirm it's real that Charlie Kirk received this. Let's read this, okay? All of the people that trusted you, Jews and Christians, including me, why would you platform anti-Semites like Candace and Tucker? There are many evangelical Christian Zionists who would never give these people the opportunity to spew their hatred. I'm one of them. You say people are accusing you of being an anti-Semite because you disagree with the Israeli government. Well, what is it exactly that you disagree with? You threatened Jews and Christians with your 30 million followers. Are you kidding? Be very careful, Charlie. You are in violation of the 9th commandment by bearing false witness against your brother Judah. When was the last time you read your Bible, Charlie? Oh. I'm coming to you as a believer. Genesis 12:3. Obadiah and many more prophets warn that those who curse Israel will be cursed. Oof. Your TPUSA Tampa event was a disaster. Michelle Bachmann was booed, and about 10% walked out on her when she talked about standing with Israel. You brag about how you convinced all these young voters to vote for Trump, but you can't convince them to stand with our Jewish brethren. This is not a joke, Charlie. I'm coming to you as a sister in faith. You have accomplished so much by the hand of the Almighty, but he is going to lift his hand from you. Don't fall for Tucker, Candace, and the rest. The Jews are under attack. God warns us in the last days that he will wipe out the descendants of Edom because they stood by while their brothers, Jacob, Israel, was held in captivity and did nothing. Don't be counted among the Edomites. It will be to your peril, as well as the unfinished work God was going to do through you. Oh.
Right.
Oh, but it's in a Bible verse, so he should be like chill with that. No, he wasn't chill with that. He did feel threatened by that. That feels like you're pretending to be a Christian, but you have specific marching orders, and you don't think there's a single reason why Charlie could reasonably critique what Israel is doing after what's been done in Gaza. They've effectively have turned Gaza into a parking lot, and this is how you come at him over Tucker's speech? Tucker's totally reasonable speech speaking about Jeffrey Epstein. Hey, he harmed children. And he is being protected because he did that on behalf of Israel. He did that for Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Blackmail operation for Israel. Everybody knows that, including Gen Z. And you're telling Charlie it's his job to convince Gen Z, like he's a psychological operation, that that's okay? That what Jeffrey Epstein did is fine? Because he has to stand with Judah. He has to look at what happened. And he's got to flip to Genesis and understand that even when they are behaving murderously, even when they are harming children, he better figure out how to support them and how to lie to people about how he feels about what they're doing. That's really something. Really something, again, that you are hearing this from me. It is becoming increasingly difficult to imagine how Turning Point is not naming and shaming these people. I give them an opportunity here. Why don't you come out and say who sent Charlie that message? You won't. You won't. Of course you won't. You're lining up employees and firing them for literally no reason. We have proof of that later. Before we get to that proof and that video, I want to let you guys know that we received a very interesting tip, which unfortunately means that our established column that we built on our Excel sheet about, I don't know, everywhere that we investigate, there seems to be this theme regarding adults that have been accused credibly, or people that have gone to prison for and actually have been tried and found guilty of sexual contact with minors, right? That list we have built out for you. Well, this time it grows, and it is in relation to, she was not her directly, Lori Francevy, Erica's mom. Lori Francevy and Larry Ginta. That Larry, Lawrence Guinta, is Erica's stepfather. And they have a repeat business partner, a repeat business couple, Shelley and Lyle Reams, meaning they form businesses with these people. Now, Lyle Reams ostensibly is Native American, a part of the, and excuse me if I'm saying this wrong, Tohono O'odham Nation. Back in 1998, Lyle Reams was tried and indicted for sexual conduct with a minor under the age of 15. He was about 41 at the time, and we can show you this. You can look at this case. You can scroll through to understand what happened. The case made its way through the court system for a year and a half, during which time the young victim even gave a victim impact statement before the case was dismissed without prejudice in 1999. Without prejudice means that the victim has a right to bring about the charges again, and without prejudice. Anyways, this background, I'm telling this about Lyle because it was apparently not a bar to entry for Lori and Larry to pursue a business with Lyle, because fast forward to 2017, and together they filed to open a business located on a Native American reservation in a town called Socoton, Arizona. Maybe it's Socoton. Socoton, for reference, has a population today of just 3,254 people. 40% of those people are children. 95% are, Native American. So what exactly could represent, this is my question, a legitimate business interest amongst the Native American population on a Native American reservation? Remember, this is at a time when Lori is doing defense work for the Department of Justice. That's what she moved to Arizona for. What's their interest here? According to the formation docs, the business that they filed is called Desert Spirit Tech, LLC. Okay. Her name here is now Lauren, Lorin, rather than Lori, which is other business documents. And then looking through these docs, the place of business listed for the place of business that's listed, full stop, is 26 Rose and Thoby. Okay. Well, that address does not appear to exist. Rose and Thoby is an intersection. And we can pull this up live so you can see what we're seeing. If we're wrong, we're happy to correct this. But Rose is its own street. Thoby is its own street. The intersection, which we're going to zoom in on here, is let's get in close there, because there's just maybe one building that you could maybe say was on Rose and Thoby. Yeah, okay. We don't have a 26 Rose and Thoby. That doesn't exist. Okay. Maybe it's that building. That's the only thing that looks like a building to me. Again, I don't know what that building's doing. There's another business on the same road that is owned by Mr. Lyle Reams and his wife, Shelley, which is called Generation 7 Farms. In theory, it should be right next door to Lori and Larry's Spirit Tech, as its address is 21 Rose and Thoby. Sadly, alas, we cannot find that one on a map either. Maybe you guys will have better luck. But what we can discern from the filing of Desert Tech is that Lauren Francevy is listed as a 20% stakeholder in the business. Larry Guinta, her husband, is also listed as a stakeholder and as the business's registered agent. But what is not immediately discernible, however, is what exactly this Spirit Tech does. Fortunately, it is required by law in, and I think every country, in every state, maybe not all of them, that when you form an LLC, you have to then publicize that you are doing so in a local newspaper and provide a general description of your intended business operations. So I thought, great, that's an angle. Oddly, however, Larry, who, by the way, is an agent, remember, he's the registered agent on the business, Larry and Lori and the other two decided that for this business, they would issue the public notice in the Arizona Chinese News. Okay. Here is proof, which they filed with the state, of their public notice. They got it notarized by Arizona Chinese American publication saying, hey, we did it. We ticked off that box by filing about what our business was going to be. It's done. Cool. This is in December 2017. You can see the state received it on December 6th. They signed this on December 1st. Okay. Now, the Arizona Chinese newspaper, by the way, that's recognized. You can do that. It's not illegal. It's recognized by the state as an optional publication to meet the requirement. But as far as publications go, it's a bit obscure. It's not exactly accessible to non-Mandarin speakers. This is the website. So good luck trying to source a 2017 LLC public notice. Seriously, good luck. If someone finds it and you will maybe receive this publication, which goes out once a week, please email me at moretips@candaceowens.com because I would like to know what this tech, Easy Tech, Desert Tech, Euro Tech, all of these tech companies do exactly. For reference, per their website, the Chinese news agency was founded in Phoenix, Arizona in April of 1990. Its mission is to create a cultural space for overseas Chinese and to serve the Chinese community. I find this to be all very shady. Talking Native Americans, we've got Chinese. I don't know what this business does. This seems to be a recurring theme. Shouldn't be, especially if our government is involved. It should be very clear to figure out what everybody does. And maybe you're a better researcher than me. And it's especially shady given the fact that it looks like, and I'm going to prod that narrative further, that also back when Lori Francine formed Eurotech, there was another shady character involved back in Cincinnati, Ohio. This seems to be a common theme, and we need to look into it further. And I promise you that I am now going to, because I don't like when people send legal letters to my house because I'm telling the truth. I just don't like it. Anyway, we'll be right back after a brief break, and I'll tell you about a recent round of firings happening at the company. All right, you guys, there is very clearly a war on truth right now. You feel it, I feel it, and the biggest weapon that they have is the algorithm. Rewriting history and redefining morality to fit a broken secular agenda that has completely erased God from the conversation. That's why I use Magisterium AI, because it's not just about the past, it's about how to live right now. And I'm talking about the toughest questions that you face, questions about suffering, marriage, and the purpose of life. And unlike the other AI programs out there, Magisterium AI actually brings the receipts, meaning every single answer is backed by original sources, citations that you can click and verify for yourself. I'm talking about 2,000 years of wisdom from the saints, popes, and fathers of the church. It's a knowledge base that grows daily from their exclusive digitized work inside the pontifical universities in Rome. It is the #1 Catholic answer engine in the world for a reason. If you want to discover the intellectual depth and the peace that I have found in the Catholic faith, you should start there. Go to magisterium.com/Candace or download the app for free on iOS or Android. You can use my discount code Candace to upgrade to Pro and get 25% off your first year. That's basically $2.99 per month. Peace and purpose for the price of a cup of coffee. It's a no-brainer. Visit magisterium.com/Candace. Also reminding you guys about the Wellness Company, because the big medical hack of 2025 was several peer-reviewed studies identifying the direct connections between anti-parasitic medications and their off-label benefits of fighting a wide variety of cancers. And this makes sense. The connection between tumor growth and parasites has been known for years. While the CDC remains silent, they have admitted that millions of Americans suffer from parasitic infections that often go undetected or undiagnosed. This is why Dr. Peter McCullough, Chief Scientific Officer at the Wellness Company and the world's most published cardiologist, says that these studies make a clear case to do at least one medical-grade parasite cleanse annually. The Wellness Company's compounded ivermectin and mebendazole is a doctor-prescribed, gold standard combination dose that is designed to help the body eliminate parasites. Each bottle contains 90 capsules, enough to...
In a single year, I became a widow, a first-time mom,
and a new nurse. It was rough, but I decided to continue my education and go on from my RN to BSN. University of Phoenix accepted my transfer credits and made the process smooth and that is Candace at checkout. So remember when yesterday I told you how I received a legal letter in part for noting that a bunch of military men seem to have infiltrated Turning Point USA? That was one of the sentences. You said military men infiltrated Turning Point USA. Well, this is a fun tweet that somebody pulled up from Tyler Boyer, the former COO. He wrote this September 25th, 2018. He wrote, "We do have a team. We can only do as much as police on campus will allow, and also working with police or private security in a given venue. We run everything like a military op. All of our people are from that background." Oh, I told the truth. Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to, or maybe get a lawyer to send Tyler Boyer a letter. Anyway, guys, got to get into this firing thing. I have a lot now, and I got to organize it over the weekend and things to give to you guys. And it's good because we're about to have a snowstorm and I can kind of plug in. So I still don't understand what caused it. I can't get to the root of what happened. But what I can tell you is that one person got brought into an office by Andrew Colvett and was told that the CMO got into an Uber car and asked, just striking up some conversation with the Uber driver. I was like, "What do you think about Turning Point USA and like the Charlie Kirk thing?" And he starts saying, "Oh, well, I actually have a daughter who knows somebody that works Turning Point USA, and maybe she doesn't like the stuff that's going on at the company." An Uber driver was making small chat
because there's something
with
stuck in there.
an executive at Turning Point USA and said his daughter knew someone, and that person had potentially said something that he didn't really love she didn't really love Erica at the helm. Anyways, Andrew Colvett hauls this person into the office and starts asking about this Uber conversation. And of course, the employee was like, "I literally have no idea what you're talking about," and says that it was completely untrue, almost like they had fictionalized it entirely for some other reason, for some other unknown reason. Anyway, another person who had worked there gets hauled into the office by the general counsel, thinks that they are being brought in because they're going to get a raise or a bonus, because apparently, which makes perfect sense, things have been insane, obviously. They are all really have been working nonstop. Think about the size and scale of the event that they put on at Charlie's Memorial Service. They had AmFest. They had a huge donor thing at Mar-a-Lago. So everyone's been killing themselves and no one's getting raises and bonuses. And yet, according to this person, Turning Point USA has brought in $250 million since Charlie's assassination. Good luck proving that I hurt your pockets. Like, what? I think he did just fine this year, actually. I don't think my podcast did too much there. 250 mil. I can't even wrap my head around this. LOL to the PR talking points that everyone's doing this for money. I can't. That is money that I cannot even comprehend outside of random articles written in the Hindustan Times where people think that my net worth is $200 million and I have 72 houses. Yeah, that's what's happening at Turning Point USA. Anyway, another person, that person regarding the Uber thing then said, "If you want to know my actual opinion," to Andrew Colvett, "if you want to know my actual opinion about Erica, you can just ask me." And he proceeds to go, "Okay." And then she kind of then illustrated that a lot of people just feel like outwardly the company is presenting like they're one big family. We're one big family. We're one big family. But then actually a lot of the employees feel that that's just a public presentation, that Erica doesn't even know their names, that only a handful of people even have access to her. And so it doesn't feel like the same company. I think that's a reasonable thing. Anyways, fired, goodbye. Within the same day, maybe the next day, I actually am not completely sure, another person gets hauled in, thinks that she's getting a raise, and actually they just tell her that she's fired. It's like thinking, I crushed it at AmFest. I am definitely about to get a raise. This company is flush with cash. Actually, you're fired. And so she asks the attorney, "Why am I being fired?" And the attorney just says, "We're going in a different direction. You don't get to have an explanation. Security's outside, leave." And so at this point, the employee hits record on their phone because they don't understand what's happening. And thankfully they did. So you can now listen to the, I guess not excuse. There's nothing really to listen to other than her not being able to get an answer of what she did wrong. And I'm making this very clear to you. I am not kidding. I promise you on everything. I had never in my life communicated. I mean, maybe I saw her in the back. I don't know. I shouldn't say never in my life. I might maybe was backstage. I never spoke to this employee once, never anything at all. Period. Not one of my sources, nothing. So this can't be related to me. I don't think it's related to me. But let's take a listen anyways, because they're all convinced they're just paranoid and firing a bunch of people. Take a listen.
I mean, Frank, this is kind of wild.
I understand where you're coming from.
I know, and I know us to be here, and
yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really content leaving for the day without further documentation, explanation, anything.
I understand, but it's time to go. We're just gonna say today's the last day, and that's what we're gonna operate from.
And there's nothing else y'all are going to offer me or plan to offer me. No, I'll send you an email about offboarding instructions. Essentially outlines rates that you did. So the expense report, and then detailing the pay.
And you will receive your year-end bonus from your performance for the year, so that will be in that paycheck too.
Okay. So, I mean,
yeah,
this is crazy.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
No, and I know you're going to keep saying I understand.
Yeah.
Like, I know that.
No, I know.
And I know there's probably no magic string of words that I could piece together to procure some type of answer, but
yeah.
I think on a surface level, like, I'm not going to walk out of here until I say my piece. Like, I mean, y'all know this. I just worked a series of 80, 90-hour weeks plus for AmFest.
Yeah,
I've had no direction or explanation since we've come back. Our CEO has been assassinated. I've done nothing but bend over backwards for this organization and the playground. I'm wondering if this is a prank.
It's not a prank. I would never do that.
So I'm just trying to understand. And
no, I understand. It's time to.
So do I get to have a conversation with Dylan? Do I get to have a conversation with Justin or anybody? Or
nope.
No, and there's no explanation as to why I'm going to let go. Despite
right now we're leaving all.
And you're going to keep saying a different direction, but I'm just trying to understand how I've met multiple times with my.
We're going a different direction with the team, and I have to ask you to leave now.
You have to ask me to leave the property?
Yes.
Due to what, Frank?
Because we're asking you to leave because you've been terminated and we're not.
But there's no explanation or documentation for this. I've never had one bad review from Dylan. I've never had one issue with the company. I've never done anything unethical. And so I'm sitting here understanding why my entire livelihood is being completely tossed out. I mean, I sat in this chair.
You're gonna do great things.
No, and I
plan to. I don't think you're being tossed out. I think you're very successful.
Well, my paycheck every other week is being tossed out, Frank, with absolutely no warning whatsoever.
I understand. But if at this time, it's time for you to go.
It's time for me to go. Why? Like this is the treatment that Turning Point is offering now.
It's time. It's time for you to go.
Frank, this is crazy.
I understand where you're coming from.
I don't think you do. This feels very heartless. This feels without emotion.
I do understand where you're coming from.
This feels completely without emotion.
I understand where you're coming from, but at this time, I have to ask you.
Frank, I'm really not content doing that.
Okay.
Because I know that when I leave there, my credentials not going to get back in, and I'm never going to have the opportunity to speak with somebody at this company as to why I'm being terminated after never having my performance questioned, after never doing anything wrong, after working tirelessly through the death of Charlie. This is wild. And you can, that's completely unsatisfactory. And so I have to go home tonight with no plan, no understanding, asking for clarity multiple weeks in a row. And I'm confused. I sat in your office when that whole GC situation happened. And you said, and I quote, that if you don't get that job, I'm going to personally think that you got screwed over. And now I'm sitting here and I'm getting screwed over in a completely different capacity with no explanation.
Yep, I understand where you're coming from. But at this time,
So there's going to be absolutely no explanation as to why I'm terminated. So when I go to my next job, I can't explain as to why this chapter is closed.
We're going in a different direction.
That's not an explanation, Frank.
It's the explanation we're providing now.
Providing from who?
From the organization.
From who, though? Justin? From Dylan?
From the organization. I only speak to the organization.
So different direction means what? Losing people that bend over backwards for the organization, losing people that would be willing to do anything for the organization, losing people that hadn't done anything wrong. I
understand what you're saying, and we're taking on it, but right now it's time for you to go. And so, at the time, say one piece, and now it's time for you to go. So
Like how? Okay. Well, this is
I honestly can't even imagine this at all. 80 to 90 hour weeks. Your CEO just got publicly assassinated and you've not stopped working since. You think you're going in because they're going to be like, hey, we've made $250 million and like, we see you. And they say, we're moving in a different direction. And we actually, you're not even allowed to speak to everyone that you just worked for. You're not even allowed to say and they're just having beefy security guards there to walk you out. She is correct in saying that this is heartless. Is it illegal? No. You could do this. A lot of the stuff, as we've said, the common theme here is what Turning Point is doing is legal, but it's also immoral. I wouldn't do it. I would be so honest, like, look, we appreciate obviously everything you've done. You've been killing yourself. You know what? We're a little paranoid schizo right now, and we just don't know who to trust. We gotta get rid of everybody. Erica doesn't know who to trust. That's why she doesn't want to be in here, because she doesn't know who's actually the person leaking. Give that girl something. I've asked, and I've spoken to a few of the people. That same person that you heard, their general counsel, then showed up at someone's house. The setup here was crazy. What happened to this next girl is crazy, okay? Marina Minas, this is the Uber chick. The Marina Minas, she, I don't know. I guess she's the one out here. I shouldn't say sniping employees. That's not the right analogy to use, especially given the circumstances. But she's kind of involved in a lot of this for some reason. Her name keeps coming up. And so another person set up this kind of fake Zoom. This employee is part-time. They kind of set up this fake Zoom meeting. And so she's at home. She's logged in this meeting and her phone's ringing. I'm going to say allegedly, but this is what happened. Allegedly, her phone's ringing nonstop. She doesn't recognize the number. She doesn't know what's happening. She's still on this call. Eventually, she picks up, and it's the general counsel. And he's like, hey, I'm outside. You're fired. And come to the door and let me in to get your work computer. And let me tell you something right now. If you try to delete anything, just so you know, we've installed something and we'll know that you did it. She has no idea what's happening. She's home with her kids, alone with her kids. She doesn't have her husband there, nothing. So obviously she just complies. My sense when I hear that story is they thought they were going to find something. They thought there's some sort of paranoia going on. Maybe they thought the same thing with this girl. They were going to grab the tech and they were going to find something. Then this girl, but rolling up at someone's house? Like, what? Dude, this could have been an email. No one wants what's on this computer. You're good. You can literally read what's everything. This is wild to me. Again, same exact situation. I had never once spoken to that person, not through a third party, nothing. Never spoke to that person either. It seems like a little bit of paranoia is going on, but the manner in which they are handling this, I don't know, guys. What's your vibe? What's happening here? What could have happened that would lead to this? How do you treat people like this that are actually, I would say, remarkably staying bottled up and they should have been leaking if this is the stress they've been going through. I mean, working 80, 90 hour weeks and just being like, peace, goodbye, nothing. Again, if I'm a major donor to Turning Point USA, this ain't it. This is not it. But also maybe you're the kind of donor that sends Charlie those kinds of messages. You like it. You're into that. It feels like the right thing to do. Like everybody has got to go. And it's giving paranoid and it's giving cult-like, but this is not it. Anyway, we will have a lot more. We also now are in possession of a Zoom call, which Erica held as the new CEO just 5 days after Charlie was publicly assassinated. And one of the strangest things is that she recommends that if employees need time to grieve, that they take time off. What's strange about that is the employees are like, maybe you need to take time off because your husband just got publicly. They thought it was very strange, and apparently she didn't. Now everyone's saying she was in the office every day with Stacey Sheridan. I told you that's like the chief fundraiser lady. They're in the office every day following Charlie's assassination. They got to that $250 million, so I guess it was worth it. But the people thought it was a bit off-putting, and we have that call, and I can confirm that's not hearsay. That is true. She does recommend that they take time off to grieve, which is nice, but also makes me mildly uncomfortable. Anyway, you guys, we will take a brief break and we will come back. All right, you guys, if you are a homeowner, you need to listen to this. The FBI has been warning homeowners about a type of real estate fraud that's on the rise, which is title theft. This type of theft does not happen by breaking down your doors and stealing your stuff. It happens with a one-page document with a forged signature that gets filed at the county. If your title, which is the legal record of ownership, gets transferred out of your name, criminals are using your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your property, and you won't even know about it until you start getting collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I've partnered with Home Title Locks, that you can protect your equity and find out today if you are already a victim. You can use my promo code Candace at hometitlelock.com, and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That is 24/7 monitoring of your title records, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud occurs, their US-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's hometitlelock.com, promo code Candace, or use the link in the description below. Also reminding you guys about American financing, because between groceries, travel, and higher prices, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you've already find yourself relying on credit cards to cover the basics. If that debt is piling up for you, you should know that you're not alone. If you're a homeowner, you might have considered reaching out to American financing, but maybe hesitated because you don't want to give up the low mortgage rate that you're enjoying. Well, that's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan, a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high interest debt, free up your cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. There are no upfront fees to find out if you qualify, so call 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210, or visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. americanfinancing.net/Owens. Somebody in the chat said the way that girl fired was evil and it was just not Christian. I totally agree with that. Your reason can be anything. This is actually a true story, because I was going through so many emotions after Charlie's assassination, and I just communicated that to people. And we definitely, obviously, went through some changes on the security front, which makes sense, because I think all of us in the world felt unsafe when somebody who's a good person can be assassinated in broad daylight. And I was very happy with my current security apparatus, and sort of said to them as we were changing things, like, this is me. I was like, you've done nothing wrong. I am just beyond paranoid, and here's what I have to do to solve my paranoia. I just kind of blurted at them and said, you've been amazing. This is totally a me thing. It is not you. And it was great. It was such a healthy conversation. They said they totally understood, and that they knew that I was going to have these sorts of concerns. And I said, I hope I can work with you down the line. I'm sure down the line, I could come back to you in 12 months.
The algorithm saw the hunger in your eyes, so it sent you here to Domino's Specialty Pizzas. Top 3 gym colognes. Versace Pour Homme, Lemon, Neroli, and Cedarwood. The kind that turns heads.
They could have been honest and said, you've been amazing, and we're a little paranoid right now, and we just have to go through some changes. There's no humanity in that. And I do agree with you that there is a lack of Christianity in the way that that was handled. And the fact that she thought for a second it was a joke because of how hard she had worked. It's sad. It genuinely is sad. And she's not the only one. She's just the one person who had the wherewithal to go, let me hit record, because I don't know what's happening right now. Anyways, you guys, if you'd like to support this show, we've got new merch on the website. You can also buy our autographed bundle. It is the hard copies of Make 'Em a Sandwich and Blackout, both hand signed by me. I'm telling you guys, we have a massive snowstorm coming tomorrow, which is changing a lot. The South shuts down when there are snowstorms, and we have it coming on Saturday. Long story short, we have a wedding that was supposed to be on Saturday that's now happening tomorrow. So for the book club, we're making it earlier tomorrow. You might be at work. If you are, you can still catch it, of course, on the website, but you probably won't be able to catch it live. I hope you are. It's going to be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. So just giving you guys that little update. It'll be earlier than we had initially anticipated to accommodate all the changes in the schedule over the weekend, because the South does not do snow. I'm a Connecticut girl. We do snow. Tennessee, they don't do snow. Life shuts down for about a week. Let's read the top comment from last episode. It is from Miss Sways. And she writes, we need an Erica Kirk series just like the Brigitte Macron series. Well, I do want to do perhaps not an entire series, but a couple of episodes dedicated to that, which we have been working on in the background to give everybody something solid. There's a lot of, like I said, innuendo online, some things that are true, some things that are not true. But I do think given the size and scale of this company, the public does deserve, and since the media is never going to do it, the mainstream media apparatus is never going to do it, something that is solid and backed by facts and documents that tells you about who this new CEO is. Because I think it's fair to say she is not Charlie. I can't imagine Charlie would have allowed that to happen. That made me so uncomfortable, and I'm sure made the rest of you guys uncomfortable to listen to. But hey, the good news is we're getting a lot more information about Turning Point USA. So there is, I guess, sort of the natural karma to that. Some more comments from today's episode. Grace White, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, Baron Coleman, Glenn Greenwald, George Galloway, Scott Ritter, Jeffrey Sachs, Ryan Grimm, Jeremy Scahill, Amy Goodman, Jack Valley, David Grush, George Knapp, Bob Lazar, and Dr. Stephen Greer Hart. Thank you very much for saying that. Rosario writes, why can't she spell out G-O-D? It reminds me of how Erica never says Jesus Christ. She just can't say it. She only ever says the Lord or God. I wonder which Lord and God she's really talking about. Biblical Israel was a people, not a land or its government. You will not get a disagreement with me. I am Catholic about that at all. And like I said, Christian Zionism has been put on trial this year, and I'm happy for that. I think we're all awakening, and this is clearly not a religion, a religious philosophy at all. They act like a cult. The behavior of them is like a cult, and it's always with this veneer of your loving Christian sister is telling you this, and you're like, why do I feel like you're going to harm me? But you are citing biblical scripture and trying to create this illusion like this is coming from the heart and is somehow not a threat. Maybe Turning Point will come out and say who that message is from. We'll see. Jason Blake writes, you do us and Charlie proud. Keep up the good fight. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the work that you do. The world is gay. Christ is king. All the best to you and yours. Thank you so much. Sugar Magnolia writes, TPUSA gives mega church series vibes now, led by Tammy Faye, Greenleaf, Righteous Gemstones. It's now giving all the things that people didn't follow and fall in love with Charlie Kirk for. Yes, I agree that Charlie Kirk, when we were hitting the ground, it was about free markets and capital, and he was never shy about discussing his faith. And like I said, it then dramatically changed, and it seems like they are now pretending to be a faith organization. Well, if you are going to pretend to be an organization that is dedicated to faith, then maybe treat your employees better than that. I don't know. I think that's a fair ask from the public. Cohen Film writes, there needs to be a TPUSA alternative that is America First and not Philadelphia First to reach young Americans. Young people avoid TPUSA. I think that will be the natural occurrence is when something will rise to take its place, when something becomes stale or dishonest or corporate, which, by the way, like I said, was exactly what Charlie set out to disrupt. He wanted to become the new RNC. He felt that people just gave the RNC millions, and yet they had no impact on the youth generation. He wanted to change that, and he did change that. And now it seems like in the wake of his assassination, is becoming the new RNC, but with a faith bent. Is that fair? I think that's fair. I think my opinion is very fair. Yeah, I agree with you. I think something naturally will rise to take its place, and I think they know that. I think that's really what these legal letters are about. You cannot, however, sue your way into relevancy. You cannot sue your way into public favor. It doesn't work. That's old world mentality thinking. The people that are giving you that advice are wrong, and you are going to, like I said, it's a difficult hill to climb to say that you're being hurt by these videos when you raked in $250 million in a couple of weeks. I think it's a tough hill to climb. Maybe it's not. Maybe you got some judges in your pockets. Who knows? It's Arizona. Maricopa County is one of the most corrupt counties in the nation. But outside of that, it just doesn't even make sense to pretend that you're hurting financially, especially as you are now getting rid of a bunch of people on your payroll. And I guess you're going to bring some new people in, and they're going to be questioned about their allegiance to Erica or something. Who knows? Anyway, that's what we have for you today, you guys. We will hopefully see you on Monday. We don't know how much snow we are going to get. Like I said, the infrastructure here, they just do not plow the roads because in the north we have businesses and free markets get in there and don't have to rely on the government, but there'll be like a plow business. Everything is pretty much plowed overnight. Down here, the governments just don't have enough trucks and the roads don't stay plowed for a long time. And so it could be a bit of a slip and slide, and we may not have a show due to weather on Monday. Hopefully, that is not the case. I'll let you know on social media. We will hopefully see you guys then.
Good show. I don't know what the point of me recording it is, but I just need to be involved because whatever my First Amendment right is, and I'm exercising it, and that's it. That's all it is. I just want to exercise my First Amendment right. And I am using my voice. Since we all seem to have a voice in this space, this is how I'm going to use mine. Why? Because I don't want my voice to go to war. No, unacceptable. We can end.